So you're in the market for a brand new, relatively affordable crossover. You don't want something massive, which will limit your options a little bit. However, there's still a ton of vehicles in the market right now. You've got options at Hyundai, Kia, Mazda, Subaru, plus a variety of others. However, what if you want something basic, something without all the bells and whistles, something that'll get the job done? There's the 2025 Mitsubishi RVR. We haven't tested an RVR in quite some time here at Driving, so let's get in and take a look and see if it's still a worthy competitor in this segment. Let's start off with the drive. Here's my thing. I really like this car. It's really simple, it's really basic, but we'll get more into that in a bit. Let's talk about some of the downfalls of it. Yeah, if you want power, that's not what you're gonna get in here. I don't know if you can hear it, but like I'm going up a slight incline and it's struggling. On the highway, it struggles to pass other cars, it struggles to pick up speed, it's loud. But if that doesn't really bother you, then all the power to you, because you're getting some other good things in here. You're getting some basics, you're getting some things for all a relatively decent starting price. Let's start with the trims. So you can get a base front-wheel drive RVR for around $25,000. You're missing out on some of the top trim features. In the base trim, you actually got a couple options. So in the base trim, you are getting the 2.0 liter i4, but if you bump up a couple trims, you get a 2.4 liter i4. Slightly more power will make a difference in price. So this tester is the top trim. It costs, give or take, $35,000, but you're getting the 2.4 liter i4 that makes 168 horsepower and 167 pound-feet of torque. It's not powerful, but it gets the job done, which at the end of the day is what all the other cars do as well. We get in, it gets us from A to B, it seats 5 passengers, it does everything, again, relatively well, just maybe not as smooth as some of the other cars. Now that we've talked about the engines, Mitsubishi has told me that there are currently no plans for a hybrid RVR. However, things can change, we don't know. I've also read a few reports saying that they're not even sure how long the RVR will still be around. It's the Outlander Sport in the US, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. As for now, I believe the average fuel consumption should be roughly around 9.4 liters per 100 kilometers. I would say that's pretty average of what I'm getting. Like right now, as I'm driving along these bumpy, twisty, curvy roads, it's saying 10.0 liters per 100 kilometers. But when I did a long highway stretch, I got down to low 7s. So it's doable to save some money on gas, but again, you're not gonna get the most efficient vehicle out of this one. It's not a hybrid. The front seat is honestly fairly comfortable. There's nothing wrong with it. In this top trim, you do have power adjustable seats, but if you bump down a few, you won't get that power in there. There's no memory seating, so if you're not the only driver, then you will have to take that into consideration because you will be switching it manually every once in a while. The back seat has quite a bit of legroom back there. My 3 kids fit in there relatively comfortably. It's not the greatest. It won't be great for a few adults, but in a pinch, you can definitely use it to, you know, get from A to B, take whoever you want back and forth. But yeah, for the most part, it'll be for kids. The cargo space is also pretty generous. We easily fit some golf clubs back there. It'll get your Costco haul done. The rear seats also can be folded as a 60-40 split. So if you need a bit of extra space, you can fold one side down. If you want even more space, you fold that down. You've got quite a bit of space then. You could fit a pretty big load back there if you are folding the second row seats flat. I am just going to pull over to the corner here and make a U-turn, and you will note that the rear view camera is crap. Again though, it gets the job done. However, here, let me show you this camera now. Yeah, so not the best camera, but one of the things to note is that I've got sunglasses on and this screen is not polarized. So if I'm wearing my sunglasses, once I put the car into reverse, I can barely see anything on that screen. If I'm not wearing it, it's not a whole lot better, but you don't need the crisp, clear screens that some cars provide you with to back up. And really, you should be looking back there anyway. Let's talk a little bit more about this screen. It's super basic and I don't mind it at all. All of your climate control settings are down here. They're knobs that you can easily turn to change your settings quickly, efficiently, intuitively. It gets the job done. There's heated seats for the front passengers in here. I believe heated seats are standard across the board, but a heated steering wheel isn't something you'll get on the lower trims. Back to the screen, super basic again. These are pretty much your options. You can't get lost in here. There aren't a whole bunch of layers to dig through. I was looking for some driving modes, couldn't find that. There is a 4-wheel drive option down here that you can press and it'll light up your dash up here to tell you that it's on. It connects to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but you need the wire. It won't wirelessly connect. But once you're connected in there, then it'll just pop up on the screen here and you can go straight to there. And of course, once you've got those things connected in, it makes life so much easier because you can play whatever you want through it. And speaking of playing, this top trim has the upgraded Rockford Fosgate sound system. It's not the absolute best sound system I've heard, but for a car that's $35,000, it works. Again, it'll get the job done. And also, it goes pretty loud. It gets pretty loud. If you go into sound control and tone, you can turn up your bass and your punch, whatever that is. Yeah, it gets pretty loud, but I don't know. Again, $35,000. Whether you think that that is worth it or not really sure. So this tester costs roughly $35,000. For $10,000 less, you can get the base trim in the front wheel drive version of it. If you want all wheel drive, you're spending give or take roughly about $2,000 more. But I would love to test drive the base version because aside from the smaller engine, there aren't a whole lot of things that you're missing out on. When you're already spending like such a low amount relative to the amount that cars cost today, you're probably trying to get your costs as low as possible. The main features I think that you'd be missing from this top trim is blind spot monitoring with also lane departure warnings. But that little beep, if I'm being honest, I turned it off because I don't really care for it. Other things you're missing are roof rails, a sunroof, and I will say that the sunroof in here is so massive and it brings in so much light. It's huge. It's got to be one of the biggest in its segment. But if you don't care about it, then, you know, be gone with it. You also won't get the power driver seats, the cargo cover in the back, a push button start, and the upgraded sound system, as well as a heated steering wheel. Again, all those things are really useful features, but if you think that you could live without them, then you could be spending quite a bit under $30,000 when the average vehicle in Canada costs something like $65,000. The Mitsubishi RVR is basic, and going with the theme of everything else today, it gets the job done. And if that's what you're looking for, it's a good car. You could definitely do worse. However, if you're looking for something far more tech-driven, then you'll have to look to other brands. But if you want something basic, then I would give this a test drive and see how it suits you. You never know, you might end up loving it. For Driving.ca, I'm Renita Narain. For more SUV news and reviews, check us out on social media or on our website.